Hello, everyone, and welcome to TFA Talking Point. Again, we are live this hour just to talk about the meeting that was held yesterday at the Prime Minister's office concerning the crisis in Southern Cameroon. That is the follow-up committee for the decision that were taken at the Major National Dialogue in the window that was in 2019, the 4th September, 30th September to 4th of October 2019. And the Prime Minister called on all those involved in the implementations of the decisions that were taken at the Major National Dialogue to uphold the spirit of dialogue, that or to uphold the spirit of dialogue in the effort of implementing the decisions that were taken during the Major National Dialogue. And one of the things that he mentioned in that is something I do not understand how they are going to do about it, because the Prime Minister talked about the effort to disrupt and to disrupt and end activities of networks of separatists and their sponsors across the globe will be intensified in the days ahead. So this is something that the Prime Minister is holding on to, that there will be a lot of effort to stop and end the activities of all Ambazonian fighters in Southern Cameroon. In the days he was speaking, as I told you, during the sixth session of the follow-up committee on the implementations of recommendations of the Major National Dialogue in Yaoundé. That was yesterday, the 18th of March 2025. So the whole issue we are asking now is whether the Prime Minister is thinking about the failure of the military option in Southern Cameroon, because this is something we have been crying of. This is something we have been campaigning for. This is something we have been holding on to, that the military solution in Southern Cameroon is not right. It is the wrong strategy by the government of President Paul Biya. And if they keep on holding meetings upon meetings concerning reconstruction of Southern Cameroon while fighting is still going on, it is time wasted, time and resources wasted, because conflict cannot be going on and you are holding meetings upon meetings. And this is the sixth meeting that they are holding, is saying the end of the Major National Dialogue, in which nearly everybody, international community and many other people, nations, condemn that it was not a dialogue to end the crisis, because you cannot call for a dialogue and then without calling all the parties, no Ambazonia leaders, as we know, was represented in that dialogue. So the government of President Paul Biya chose those to attend, and many people condemn. Even the president of France came to Yaoundé and also asked President Paul Biya to engage in another dialogue in order to end. And TFA Talking Point also keep on calling for another dialogue in Southern Cameroon. So, but they keep on covering everything in the name of they have one, and the dialogue that they have in 2019, they believe that it is enough and they don't need any other dialogue again to go ahead with anything. So the Prime Minister hold on to one point, that effort will be put in place to disrupt and end activities of Ambazonia fighters and Ambazonia sponsor all over the world. Wherever they found themselves, they will be held responsible, and those who will be at home also will be held accountable for engaging in a fight with government. And the government, through Prime Minister, is saying that what they will struggle by all possible means to end the activities of Ambazonia separatists in Southern Cameroon. And the question is how? Because I make mention that the military solution cannot end the crisis. The government cannot kill all the Ambazonia fighters, because many people are joining it out of frustration, out of revenge. It is already an ideology, and there are little children that even you sign an agreement today, tomorrow that anger will still come out. from these little children. So the first thing is to end this thing on the table and then look for ways on how to change the mentality of all those who were born during this crisis up to the elderly person in southern Cameroon that witnessed or saw and experienced what went on in southern Cameroon. And this will be the best way to go about it. So holding meetings and calling for reconstruction and a campaign for reconstruction, and a bank and international community are already giving their support, like the United Nations already giving their support for this, will not help. That is the main truth. It will not help. To reserve this energy, called on the government to sit and dialogue. This is the only way out. I quite remember what is happening here in Cyprus recently. Cyprus is divided, just like Cameroon. There is even worse, because two powerful nations, NATO members, are in support of each side. Turkey is supporting the Turkish side of Cyprus, and the Greek, Greece is supporting the Greek-speaking Cyprus. And then when you gather all these things together, they are putting things together to end. And then they have discovered that the only solution is on the table. And they are doing it on the table. There is no fighting in Cyprus. But they have been fighting and separated, considering themselves as enemies for all these years. But they remained on the table. Because when they fought for some years, they discovered that many of them were being killed, and they do not want to kill anybody. So for many years, close to 40 years today, Cyprus has been on the table negotiating to end the conflict in that country. Nobody being killed. The two parts of Cyprus are going and operating peacefully without any problems. But they are on the table every blessed day talking how to end the crisis. And this is why I called the attention of President Paul Biya, the attention of the government of President Paul Biya, that the only solution to the crisis in southern Cameroon is to sit on the table, end the killing. And then when you end the killing, we can be talking about reconstruction. We cannot be talking about reconstruction up to the point where you people already have 6 different meetings. That is, every year they gather together to evaluate the implementation of the major national dialogue. The major national dialogue that everybody condemned. Even all those who attended the dialogue, they are against it, the decisions that were taken. Some even say that before the dialogue, all the decisions were already ready, before they even called people to celebrate. So it was a celebration of the decision that was taken in the absence of other parties. Most of those who were invited in that party in Yaoundé in 2019 were not separatists. They were for federation, people like us who are for federation, but Ambazonians were not invited. So we can never in any way say this was a dialogue to end the Ambazonia crisis. The dialogue in 2019 was to end the Anglophone crisis, not the Ambazonia crisis. Because the Ambazonia crisis, as I mentioned in many of my outings, that it is quite different from the Ambazonia crisis. The Ambazonia crisis is the independence that they stood for, is the violence that they say they are defending themselves for. How can you end it? How can you convince them that no, you do not have to separate? Is what we are telling the government to do. And you can only do this by sitting with them on the table and telling them that, my brother or my sister, see, this separation cannot help us. We should be together like this. If they accept, that is victory on the part of the government. So the government should engage with the Ambazonia to end the killing in southern Cameroon first, before thinking about reconstruction of the Northwest. Because Prime Minister is still holding on to that one, that all effort will be put together to disrupt and end activities of Ambazonia. Many, they are still holding on to the military solution, in which I say it cannot work. It can never work, and it will not work. Thank you very much for listening, being with me up to this point.